Demo of RESTpoint. In our last demo, we showed how you can use webhooks to send a Slack notification, and we sent a Slack notification each time a new stock was added to our collection. This time we're going to take a look at path parameters, more commonly known as query parameters. So we're going to start with creating a query parameter, and for now we're going to call this a device, and the actual query parameter name will be called mobile. So I'm going to make our default be no. So when we added our last update for our users, the response came back that they just wanted to change the response output for one of the paths. So let's do that. We're going to use a query parameter now to change the content. So we created our query parameter mobile. Now we're going to go and apply that to our best stock. So I'm going to apply best stock to our path parameters. And we'll click OK. So what the customer asked was when best stock API call is a GET request, they just want the name to be returned if that mobile query is set, or otherwise send the full object. So this is just being shown to give an example. So let's do that. So I'm going to go to the business logic of our best stock. So when best stock is, the request comes in, there's a chance to execute some pre-request script. Then it grabs the best stock out of the database, and there's a chance to again apply some logic to any of the variables. So we know this is where we want to apply the output. So we're going to add in some script here, which I already had saved in my clipboard. So when it comes to the post script, after getting the best stock out of the database, it gets the mobile value. If the value is yes, we're just going to give it the name, and we're going to set it in a variable called result. So I'm going to update this because we have to update before we test. And then I'm going to do a log, and that is a way to use this for helping debug our logic. So I'm going to say mobile, no. And you'll see, great, there we get the whole object. Now I'm going to try mobile, yes. And here we should just see the name. Great, we see the name in JSON format. Now note, double quote is used here. This uses Apache Velocity, the Apache project called Velocity for the syntax of the logic. Feel free to reference their user manual, but the double quote is used here in a similar manner as an escape. So we want to have the double quotes and send the string back. Now that we set this logic into result, we know that now when it goes time to output the response, when best stock is just about to be, the content is supposed to be output, it says, is there any overrides here? So we're going to go, yes, there is an override on the get for best stock, and we're just going to return results. So I'm going to update that. Now another format would be, we could have stored the actual values and did the actual JSON piece in here, but whichever works. So let's go to our end-to-end try API. So I'm going to bring up the Swagger UI to run as our request sends request to our API, and I'm going to do a quick authorize here, and I'm going to do another one here, and then I'm going to close. So let's go into best stock, and you'll see now we see mobile query parameter. So first I'm going to do no. And then, great. Oh, variable results. Oh, so we may have used the wrong value here. So if I go back to my logic, I set the value in something called result. What did I do here? Oh, I called it results by mistake. So let's change that to be result and go back and let's execute again. So here we should see all the object. Great, there it is. Now if I change it to yes, you'll see that the content returned is just the name. Ah, great, so there's the name. So we now have shown an example of how to use query parameters in your prototype, and we used that as part of the logic and used our response override to change the content. So it's meant to show another example of how you can build higher and higher fidelity prototypes very quickly, so that when you send this out to users for them to take a look at, it feels like the real end API could. And again, we would just come down here and do a deploy API. We'd call this beta 5, and we say it added mobile query parameter, parameter to best stock path. And let's deploy that now. And just to mention again, deploying it means that it's now a completely separate, real deployed API backend, separate from your own personal account where you've been doing this testing. So now this sits out there, it doesn't affect your personal account. It's great because it's a separate backend that can just sit there. And look, we have several of these betas sitting out there. So let's grab this best stock, and I'm going to use Postman this time. And I'm going to put this in here, call this best stock, and the only thing I need is my full access key. Or I'll get rid of this, and you'll see we have our X endpoint key. So let's do a send, and you'll see our default is that. If I come in and add now in mobile equals yes, we should only see Amazon name. Great, there we go. And just to test the no, great, and there's the values. So this is how you can build higher and higher fidelity prototypes to really flesh out your designs. And there's no better way to flesh out designs, as just using them. That ends this demo. Thank you.